What's going on, everybody? My name is Roberto Polanco. Welcome to my channel, the place for all things passion, purpose, and wealth building. On today's video, we're going to be covering the topic of how to achieve or maintain work-life balance. I often get asked the question, Berto, how are you able to balance your career as well as your family and the activities that you enjoy to do? So on today's video, I will be covering some tips that I use in my daily life to be able to achieve work-life balance. If this is your first time here, please feel free to like, subscribe, and drop any comment or question that you may have down below. And if you are returning, I appreciate all the love and support. Thank you for being here. Now let's get into the video. The first tip that I have for you is to schedule your time. Scheduling my time is a big part of how I'm able to get through my everyday life. Just like you have a schedule that you have at work, or whether you have a business, you have schedules and to-do lists to get through your day, I do the same thing for my personal life. So an app that I like to use is called the Success Whiz, but you could do the same thing with your regular iPhone or Android calendar app that you have in your phone. So what I like to do when it comes to scheduling my time is I will take every single activity that I have in my general day-to-day and put it in these scheduling apps. Just to give you an example of what I like to put in my calendar is everything from the time that I'm gonna go to the gym, the time that I'm gonna spend on personal development, the time that I'm gonna have my meals as far as breakfast, lunch, dinner, even snacks. I also like to put in there the time that I'll be working my normal 9-to-5 job, the time that I'm gonna allocate to my business, the time that I'm gonna have to allocate to spend with family, and then even the time that I plan on going to sleep so that I can get a good night's rest. So now you may be saying, well, what happens if I have an activity planned in my schedule and another activity takes longer than I anticipated, so now my schedule is all out of whack? Yes, it happens. But life is all about adjusting. So even though that will often be the case that your schedule doesn't go as planned, you at least have a framework that you can look at and say, okay, what did I have planned today? Okay, well, this didn't go as planned. What can I remove from the schedule? What is more important? What should I prioritize? And at least you have a guideline that you can look and remove things that are not as important, move things up, move things further down in your day, and it helps a lot when it comes to staying organized. So like I mentioned, download the Success Whiz app or just use a calendar in your phone, and I promise you your work-life balance will dramatically improve when you plan out your days and you're able to allocate the proper amount of time to each activity in your day. My next tip for maintaining or improving your work-life balance is to think about all the activities that you have in a day, and I want you to prioritize them in order of importance from most important to least important. Now, when you think about the activities that you've prioritized from most important to least important, now I want you to look at your schedule that we talked about in my first tip and look at the hours that you have for each activity. Do the amount of hours that you have for each activity correlate with the level of importance that you've created for each of your tasks in the day? So the way that I like to look at it is there are three main categories in your life. There's your health, there's your wealth, and there's your happiness. So what I like to do is to make sure that I have blocked at least 4 hours in each of these categories, and that I'm actually completing the minimum of 4 hours dedicated to each of these categories, but also no more than 10 hours. So when I think of health, I think of my time to go to the gym, time for personal development, and even the time to make sure that I'm eating the proper nutrition throughout the day and staying hydrated. When I think of wealth, I think of the time that I have dedicated to work at my 9-to-5. I also think of the time that I have dedicated to work on my business. And I also think of the time that I have dedicated to work on any other passions or hobbies that I have. And when I think of happiness, I think of the quality time that I spend with my family, the time that I'm able to spend to build or maintain relationships, and the time that I have to just flat out relax and enjoy my day. So just how we talked about your schedule not always being perfect, the same thing is true to the level of priorities that you assign to each of your activities. Some days you'll be able to maintain what you planned, and other days you just flat out won't. But as long as you're constantly thinking of those times that I told you, the 4 to 10 hours dedicated to each of the major categories, that will dramatically improve your work-life balance. My next tip for maintaining or achieving work-life balance is to just flat out ask for help or delegate tasks when you feel overwhelmed. So whether it feels like your workload in your day job is just getting heavier and heavier, or if it feels like the amount of tasks that you have to do in your business just seem to be growing more and more every day, get the help that you need. Whether it's telling your boss that your workload has dramatically increased and you can no longer handle it and that you need some help, or if you own a business, hiring out some of the work, some of the lower dollar value tasks to virtual assistants to help you complete the work and avoid burnout. Asking for help and delegating is one of the top tips that I give to anybody that asks me. I used to be of the mindset that I could do everything myself, and the older that I've gotten, the more I've realized that there's no shame in asking for help. And the older that I've gotten in my 29 years of living, the more that I value my time. Have you heard of the quote, time is money? Now think about how long it takes for you to master a new skill or a new hobby. They say that it takes about 10,000 hours to develop and master a new skill. So now think about how much that time would impact your schedule and the level of priorities that you add to the major categories in your life. One thing that I've gotten more comfortable with over the past year is paying for mentorship or coaching when there's something new that I want to learn. Shout out to Radical Hughes, shout out Lewis, and shout out my Krav Maga family. By paying a small fee, I've been able to save over 30,000 hours of my time to develop and master some of the skills that these mentors and coaches have taught me over the last year. So to recap some of my top tips in order to achieve or maintain a work-life balance, number one is to schedule your time, whether it's the Success Wiz or the calendar app on your phone. Number two is to prioritize the amount of time that you dedicate to each of the major categories in your life: health, wealth, and happiness. And number three is to ask for help or delegate when you feel overwhelmed. Please feel free to leave in the comments some of your favorite tips when it comes to achieving or maintaining a healthy work-life balance. I'm looking forward to hear some of your feedback. If this is your first time here and you want to know more about who I am or what this channel is about, please watch my introduction video right here. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for all the love. Talk to you soon.